Let's get started with today's story. They say you remember the exact moment your life shifts. For me, it was a Thursday night after dinner while Olivia was rinsing off the plates. "I want to take a solo trip," she said casually, like she was asking for more salt. "Just a few weeks. Europe." I set down my glass. "By yourself?" "Well, no. Maddie and Layla are going too. But I need this. For me." She didn't look at me when she said it, just kept scrubbing a pan. Maddie and Layla, both single, both fresh off breakups, both trying to reclaim their power, or whatever their podcast told them that week. I already knew what kind of trip this was going to be. "What are you trying to find over there that you can't find here?" I asked. She dried her hands. "I've never done anything on my own, Richard. I went from my parents' house to us. I just need a break to feel like myself again." We'd been married 4 years, bought a house last summer. We weren't perfect, but we were stable, solid. Or so I thought. "This isn't about partying," she said quickly, seeing my face. "It's not like that. I just need space to think." I nodded slowly. "So, you need space. Before what? Before we have kids? Before we get too tied down to run off with Maddie and her yoga instructor?" "That's not fair." "What part's unfair? The trip, or the part where you're making this decision without me?" She sighed. "I knew you'd react like this. That's why I almost didn't tell you until I booked the tickets." And just like that, I realized this wasn't a conversation. It was a courtesy, the kind someone gives right before they do what they want anyway. She left the next weekend. I didn't fight her on it, but I made a quiet decision of my own that night, one she wouldn't see coming. The morning she left, I drove her to the airport. Not because I wanted to, but because I didn't want to give her a reason to say I was being petty. She was dressed like she was going to brunch, not a transatlantic flight. Linen blazer, oversized sunglasses, suitcase that probably cost more than my first car. "You okay?" she asked as we pulled up to departures. "I'm good," I said, cutting the engine. "You got your passport?" She nodded, then hesitated. "You're being quiet." I looked at her. "You're going on vacation with two women who treat monogamy like it's optional, and you're asking why I'm quiet?" She frowned. "This is why I needed to get away. You twist everything. Not everything is about cheating." "No," I said, "but trips like this tend to open doors people shouldn't be peeking through." She rolled her eyes and got out. I followed to get her bags. She kissed me on the cheek like we were co-workers, not spouses. "I'll text when I land," she said. "You don't have to." Her smile faltered. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means go do what you've already decided to do, Olivia. Go find whatever you think is missing. But don't pretend it's for us." She didn't respond, just took her bag and walked inside. I watched her go, then drove off without looking back. That afternoon, I started going through our joint accounts. I wasn't going to drain anything. I'm not that kind of guy. But I moved my direct deposit to a separate bank. I canceled a trip we had booked for fall and got the refund sent to my card. I updated the billing info on anything with both our names on it: utilities, insurance, streaming accounts. Little things, but they add up. We weren't separating. Not yet. But I was done operating like a man whose wife still respected him. Let her go, find herself. I'd be here, taking notes. By day 4, she'd posted her first photo. Wine glass in hand, street cafe. Caption: "Lost in Lisbon, finding peace." Lisbon wasn't even on the itinerary. That was new. Then came Seville, then Milan, then Nice. She and her friends were clearly improvising, city hopping like college girls with Eurail passes and no jobs waiting back home. The photos were all carefully composed: plates of tapas, seaside sunsets, feet in the sand, Olivia in big sunglasses and flowy dresses, laughing with Maddie or fake gazing at art. But there was one post that got my attention. It was a group shot. The girls, plus 3 guys I didn't recognize. One had his arm around Olivia's waist. No tags, no explanation, just the caption: "New friends, old souls." I stared at it for a long time. Then I opened a folder on my desktop and started saving screenshots. Call it paranoia, call it preparation. Either way, I was done giving the benefit of the doubt. I didn't comment. I didn't like any of it. I didn't text her. She texted me once that week. "Hey, hope everything's good back home. We just got to Barcelona. It's beautiful here." I left it on red. The next day, Maddie posted a video from a beach club. Olivia was dancing, barefoot, cocktail in hand. The guy from the earlier photo was there too, shirtless, leaning close to say something in her ear. She didn't pull away. I watched the clip a few times. Then I saved it in the same folder as the others. I didn't text her, didn't ask questions, didn't make accusations. I just waited. 3 weeks later, Olivia walked back through our front door like nothing had changed. She dropped her bags in the hallway and grinned like she'd just won something. "God, it's good to be home," she said, stretching. "You wouldn't believe the train situation in Italy." I leaned against the kitchen counter, arms folded. She looked around. "You rearranged?" "Had time." She came over, tried to kiss me. I turned my face slightly, and her lips caught my cheek. Her smile faded a little. "You mad?" "No," I said. "You're back. That's what matters, right?" She laughed awkwardly. "Okay, I know how it looked, but it really wasn't like that. We just needed a break from everything. Looked like you made some new friends." She paused. "You saw the posts." "I saw what I needed to." "Richard, come on. You know how it is. Sometimes people end up in group photos. That doesn't mean anything." "You weren't wearing your ring." She flinched at that. "It was safer," she said. "We were traveling. Didn't want to attract attention." I didn't respond. She walked over to her suitcase and started pulling out souvenirs. "I brought you something," she said, holding up a keychain shaped like a Vespa. "Remember you said you wanted to go to Rome someday?" I took it from her and set it on the counter. Then I picked up the envelope I'd been keeping in the drawer and handed it to her. She opened it slowly. Inside was a printed email from the bank, account separation notice. Beneath that, the property paperwork showing I'd started the process to buy out her share, and the contact info for a moving service, already scheduled. She looked up at me, stunned. "You're kicking me out?" "You said you needed space," I said calmly. "I made sure you'd have plenty." Her voice rose. "After one trip?" I sipped my coffee. "After one choice, a choice you made without me." She dropped onto the couch. "It wasn't supposed to be permanent, Richard. I needed time, that's all." "Time to do what?" I asked. "Flirt your way through Southern Europe? Pretend you were 20 again? What did you actually think was going to be waiting for you when you got back?" She shook her head, like I was the one being unreasonable. "You're overreacting. You're not even giving me a chance to explain." "You had a month to explain. I didn't hear a thing except filtered photos and empty captions. I didn't cheat." "Did you come close?" Her silence answered for her. "You think just because you didn't cross some line that it means nothing happened?" I said. "You erased me from your life the second you boarded that plane. You wanted to be free, Olivia. You were. But freedom comes with a price." Tears started forming in her eyes. "You're just done? Like that?" I didn't answer right away. I walked to the closet, pulled out the duffel bag I'd already packed for her with essentials, and set it gently on the floor near her feet. "You can stay with Layla or Maddie," I said. "You've got options." She stood up slowly, her voice trembling now. "This is really happening?" I looked at her. "I warned you. I told you not to pretend this was for us. You made your call. Now I'm making mine." There wasn't any yelling. No drama. Just the kind of quiet you only hear when something's really over. By the end of the week, she was gone. Maddie showed up in her tiny blue car to help load the rest of Olivia's things. No small talk, just a stiff nod when I opened the door and a half-hearted hey before she went to the bedroom. Olivia didn't say much either. She moved around like she was in someone else's house, took down the framed photos, emptied drawers, left a half-used shampoo bottle in the shower like she couldn't bear to finish the job. At one point, she paused in the doorway, watching me work on my laptop at the dining table. "This doesn't feel real," she said. I kept typing. "It is. I thought we could fix it when I got back." "You should have thought about that before booking the trip without me." That weekend, my brother Aaron came by with his truck to help me move the last of her boxes into storage. He didn't ask questions, just loaded what was left, tied it down, and drove. After he left, I sat on the balcony with a blanket and a whiskey. The house was quieter, but the peace hit different. Not lonely, just mine. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't heartbroken. I was just free. The same freedom she chased halfway across the world. Turns out, I didn't have to leave the country to find it. 2 weeks passed before I heard from her again. A number I didn't recognize lit up my phone. I let it ring. Then came the emails. "Can we talk? Please, Richard, just one conversation." I didn't respond. The next day, I saw her waiting outside the house, arms crossed, trying to look composed. When I stepped out, she walked toward me like nothing had changed. "I've been calling you." "I know," I said, locking my door. "You moved on that fast?" "I started moving the moment you said, 'I need space.'" She stood there for a beat like she was calculating the next play. "I made a mistake." I met her eyes. "No, you made a choice. You just didn't like the outcome." "I thought we were stronger than this." "No, Olivia, I was strong. You were indecisive." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "You don't mean that." "I mean every word." She reached into her bag, pulled out a small black box. My wedding band. I kept it with me. The whole trip. I didn't touch it. Then it traveled farther than our marriage ever did. She blinked, lips parted slightly, no words coming. I stepped past her toward my car. She turned, desperate now. "Is this really it?" I looked back once. "You asked for freedom, Olivia. You got it." I got in, started the engine, and didn't look back this time. It's been 5 months now. The house sold. We split what needed splitting. No legal war, no dragged-out mess, just clean lines and quiet exits. I moved into a smaller place closer to work. 1 bedroom, simple, uncluttered, mine. I started running again, joined a photography class on Thursdays. It's funny, the little things that start to come back when you stop bleeding for someone who wouldn't have done the same for you. Mutual friends still try sometimes. "You sure you don't want to talk it out?" "She's been going to therapy. Maybe she's changed." "Maybe. But I don't care. That's the luxury of letting go. You stop needing to know." I heard she started dating again. A few short things here and there, nothing that stuck. Eventually she sent me one last message, a photo. The keychain from Rome, the one shaped like a Vespa, sitting in her palm. No caption. I deleted it without replying. What she doesn't know is I kept mine. Not as a memory of her, but as a reminder. A reminder that love, real love, isn't about grand gestures or second chances. It's about staying. When things get hard, when temptation shows up dressed like freedom, when the world tells you you're missing out. She left looking for herself. I stayed and found mine. I've started dating again too. Nothing serious yet. I take things slow now. I don't chase sparks. I pay attention to the quiet, the solid, the kind that stays when no one's looking. And that, in the end, was all the closure I needed. Thank you for watching.